नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकधामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा शिवशरी गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Hope you all can hear me okay. So, dear devotees, intentions intentions are very important in practice of Krishna consciousness. For example, the person might know so many things in this world. He can understand so many things. He can perceive, he can understand, he can learn, he can know so many things. If we actually see, since last 100 years only, there is so much advancement. There's a lot of advancement actually. So this advancement is kind of biased. Some say it is good. Even the people who advanced, who were part of the advancement, who were part of the technology, they say, not talking about the scriptures, what the acharyas are telling, what the spiritual master is giving us. General people only, they say that this is good and this is not good. Some say that artificial intelligence is good. Then the person who was actually part of that creation, core creation cup, he says that that is not good. So there's always differences of opinion. But if we actually see, since last 100 years or even 200, there's a change. There's an ongoing change. Earlier we were part of, everyone were part of agriculture. But now agriculture has become very rare thing. Earlier parents used to train up their children so that the children would learn how to do agriculture. Because that is a livelihood. They don't have to go anywhere. They simply stay in a village. They understand. They're not connected with external world, which was not required actually. They are devoted. 100 years back, was it required? 100 years back, were people thinking how much is the price of gold? 100 years back, were people thinking, what should I do? Where should I do? How should I do? Should I invest in the real estate? Should I invest in the gold? Should I invest in somewhere else? These people were thinking, no, people were not thinking. Why? Because they had a simple life. Now, when they had simple life, if you actually see, they were able to discuss about going to heavenly planets, not going to hellish planets. Why? Because they were very simple. The simplicity kept them in that particular state. That means they were able to understand. Actually, for example, what is happening in the next state also they were not able to know. Now, is that good or bad? That is again, some people say that it is bad, we should know everything. Some say that it is not bad, it is good because you'll just concentrate on what you have. Even among the circle of this world. So clearly everyone's thoughts, everyone's understanding, they differ. For example, if we take Bhagavad Gita, the same Bhagavad Gita, Mahatma Gandhi has one perspective and his intention is one. His intention is what? To do non-violence. And then he was also using Gita. So, but how does he see Gita? Through his non-violence dependent intentions and core values. That is his core values. Because through that he would see Gita. When a person is beginning to see certain aspects based on his core intentions, then what happens is he will see the results through that action only. He will not see the results which is a real picture he cannot see. I mean, in the sense he might see, but there is no guarantee that he's seeing the real picture. He can see, there is no problem in that. We don't know whether that is right or not because there's no confirmation for that. That's why he says, it's very clearly, he says, this battle shouldn't have been happened. Because what is his lens? His lens is non-violence. This is what Srila Prabhupada says actually. Radha Krishna was actually the president during the time of Srila Prabhupada. And then he also has his own intention of seeing Gita. So Srila Prabhupada, he writes letters to Mahatma Gandhi, he writes letters to Radha Krishna, he writes letters to so many people during his tenure. And then he says, no one is interested to practice the science of Krishna consciousness. Just imagine, at that time, the technology was not this advanced. People were not knowing so many things which is happening all around the world, just like how we know now today. At that time, Srila Prabhupada says that no one is interested to know Krishna consciousness, no one is interested to learn the teachings of Gita. Then 60 years or 70 years down the line, what is a hope? How the pure devotion can be taken? That's why pure devotion is very rare, even among the circle of devotees. To come to the standard of pure devotion, it's not easy. Likewise, it's hardly anyone will also discuss the realm of pure devotion because that depends on their perspective. For example, if my perspective in giving Krishna consciousness is what? If my perspective is to just to spread this movement. Spread this movement means what? How would I do? I would go to every place and then I will tell you chant Hare Krishna, follow four regulative principles. That is spreading. That is one level of giving Krishna consciousness. But there is another level. What is another level is going into depth, going into the details, going into deeper understandings, going into how a particular jiva can go back home, back to Godhead. For example, if a person is just spreading the message, I'm not saying that is right or wrong. Again, please understand, please don't take me wrong. We are not here trying to judge the other person. We're trying to see different perspectives within the Sampradaya also. Not just within the Sampradaya, this is the nature of this world. For example, a father has three children. Now one child becomes a great collector or a great IAS officer. The other child will become a robber. And then the other child will become a small teacher. Okay. The same both three of them have same father. And father is actually giving all three of them same things. Father is not doing any difference to one son, is not doing any difference to the other son. Three sons is giving the same thing. He's feeding same prasad. He's telling about the truth to the same person, to all to all three of them. He's trying to tell the importance of education to all three of them. He's not keeping anyone aside, but every person will take that in a different way. For example, if you see Lord Chaitanya's life, he goes to every nook and corner of India. And then he said, Jara deko tara kaho Krishna Upadesh. Okay, this is one instruction which he said. That means what Lord Chaitanya is doing? He's going to every nook and corner of the country, and then he's telling, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. And then whoever got inspiration, they took up the process, right? Now the scripture says that wherever Lord went, it's all auspicious because it's the supreme personality of all. It's all attractive, all merciful, all magnanimous personality. That's the supreme personality of God, right? Wherever he goes, what is he doing? He's trying to spread this Sankirtan. The mission of Lord Chaitanya is what? So that every nook and corner of this world, everyone should chant Hare Krishna. Okay, this is one thing. And same Lord Chaitanya, he did another thing. He had his close, intimate associates, like Sarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and then other exalted Govinda, exalted Vaishnavas, who are just closely. With this close love, what is he doing? Please try to understand. What Lord Chaitanya is doing? Lord Chaitanya is actually, he's not telling just chant Hare Krishna. He's going into the details. He's actually discussing the intimate pastimes of the Lord. Why? Because that intimate pastimes of the Lord, only these personalities can understand, not the others. Please understand this. Because others do not have that realm, others do not have that level of consciousness, others do not have that level of depth or understanding of the absolute truth. General understanding, for example, if a speaker is coming, he will give general understanding. Okay, he will tell how Krishna consciousness is good, A, B, C, D, association, books, chanting. What is that? He will give the general understanding. To this general understanding, what happens? If a person is actually taking, then what happens? Slowly, his faith towards the process is enhanced. Please understand. The faith towards the process. Generally, they will come, but only few people will take. Because, for example, if a person, see, every person is afflicted with three modes: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. So these three modes, dear devotee, is the way you can actually see this very practically in your life. In your life, in the life of the family members, in your children, in the work, co-works, everywhere you see this. For example, early in the morning, some people don't speak early in the morning because they are not yet activated, or they're still in the state of mode of ignorance. They're still not yet activated. That means that to speak something, to understand something, person should come to the state of passion, right? And goodness is something else. Goodness is even further. Goodness is what? Goodness means he knows what to speak, he knows what he's doing, he has the clarity. That means his intentions are pure, his intentions are clear. And there is Shuddha Sattva also. We're not going into the details of modes of material nature, but we're trying to understand how these things do have an impact on this. Please see this. Dear devotees, early in the morning, people will speak to you in one way. The same person in the afternoon will speak to you in a different way. The same person in the evening will speak to you in a different way. What is kicking? Different modes. The three modes, they actually fight on each other. Which one should be dominated? Which one should be more prominent? Likewise, the morning hours are congenial for practicing or for studying. You remember in our childhood days also, Our parents used to tell, "Arey, arey, sleep early, get up early in the morning and then chat and then read." Why? Because when you read early in the morning, because that is congenial, because that is an act of goodness, right? So if you see a lot of people do yogasana early in the morning, it is a sign of goodness, right? They do walking early in the morning. What is that? It is a sign of goodness. No, they don't go early in the morning and then drink, right? They don't go to pubs early in the morning because that is not the nature. That nature is different. For that, night has to kick in. That means, dear devotees, time is also a factor in our life, which is sometimes it helps, sometimes it deteriorates one's consciousness. That means a person or a sadhaka should be aloof of these three things. Please understand. The association which we are taking should bring us to that platform. What it should bring? It should make us to the platform of pure goodness. Because, for example, if a person is in pure goodness, you can see which person is in which modes. Please understand. For example, if I'm standing outside the show, I know how the water is coming. I know what is the situation of the water. I know when the waves are coming. Now, if there is tsunami, I will immediately leave that place because I know, because I'm not inside that, but rather I'm outside that. Please understand. Because if a person is outside that, then he can perceive the truth in a deeper level. Let's say if I'm inside that, oh, how can I understand that? That means a person should be there in our life to pull us out from that state to the other state. Remember, scripture master tells this beautiful example. A person cannot lift himself by pulling his shoes. He cannot lift himself. There should be some other person who should help him. Likewise, dear devotees, if a person is drowning in the water, if he doesn't know how to swim, there should be a person who is outside who can help him. No, that is how the association would work under A, B, C, D. A is what? Association. B is what? Books. C is what? Chanting. So what is this? This consciousness has to be given to us. When that consciousness is given, then it will make sense. For example, we began the conversation through intentions, and we discussed about, principles like persons like Mahatma Gandhi. And Srila Prabhupada uses that example. And then he says, you see, Mahatma Gandhi, no doubt he was reading Bhagavad Gita, but as his intentions were not right, his intentions were on one plane. His intentions was not on the absolute plane. See, that intention, what he's presenting, that non-violence is actually in mode of goodness. But that mode of goodness will keep in one state only. For example, the mode of goodness can take him to heavenly planets, but the mode of goodness cannot take him to spiritual world. For example, let's say if I came from, for example, if a person is living in the city and then he comes to not a village, a small town. Okay. In the city, he is so much agitated because of traffic, this, that, so many other things. They have tickets, pollution, this, that, so many. Because he has to go 1 hour, he has to come back 1 hour from the office. Now, if that person is being kept in a particular town, do you think he will stay? He cannot stay because he is used to that state. For example, if a person, because what is that state of consciousness? That state of consciousness is a combination of mode of passion and mode of ignorance. And that state, if that person is being kept in a town, which you do not have a lot of sounds, which you do not have a lot of agitation, that means the town or a village is congenial, is a natural place for goodness. But for that person, this place is like a place of agitation. Baba, I cannot stay more than 2 days here. I cannot live here. It's difficult. Because For him, his state of consciousness is firmly convinced with that. For example, if I tell to that kind of a person, hey, you know what, you should do meat eating, you shouldn't do meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit. Oh, what are you saying? That is my life. How can I leave that? Because the passion and ignorance, they cover up the jiva's real identity. Likewise, dear devotees, Srila Prabhupada says we should cultivate this habit of getting up early in the morning. Doesn't matter. For example, if you even sleep for 4 hours, you sleep for 1 hour in the afternoon, that's okay. But the thing is, we shouldn't ignore that morning program. Why? Because this morning program, what it does is slowly, our gunas are changed from mode of passion and ignorance to mode of goodness. Now, why a sadhaka has to come to mode of goodness? Because if a sadhaka only comes to mode of goodness, then only he can understand the scriptures. In the ABCD, B. What is B? Books, right? How the books? What is there within the books? Who has to tell? Who has to understand? Who has to give the clarity? The person who has the clarity, he should give. Through that clarity, when we read the books again, then we get connected to that. Because what is happening, we are not seeing through passion and ignorance anymore. For example, I told the example of, right, Rajendra, the president, India president, the Srila Prabhupada was mentioned, right, Ramakrishna, whatever that person's name is. So that person has one perspective. He says that he is worshipping the Krishna, not to the person Krishna, but to the person who is there, but to the energy who is there within the heart which is driving that person. That means he proclaims that even Krishna is being driven through that energy which is staying in his heart. That means even Krishna is being directed by that energy. That means he says that I will worship to that energy which is there in the heart of the Lord. That means he's not giving importance to the person, rather he's giving importance to the consciousness or to the energy which is there inside the person. Please try to understand, because that is his perspective. See, my perspective is what? For example, one person's perspective is this. What is this? To get up early in the morning to chant Hare Krishna. No, other person's perspective, to get up early in the morning to do exercises and to do some kind of meditation or to keep his body healthy. What is that? He also is carrying some perspective. But how did he receive that perspective? He took that kind of association, which is again coming to point A. A means what? Association. So that association, when we take deep, today in the morning in our class, the spiritual master has been asked a question. Now, how does the sadhaka go deeper into his consciousness? How does the sadhaka come out of all these inabilities? The sadhaka who is actually asking, he's been practicing since 15 years. It's a very honest question. And then he's not a normal person where he has everything, where he is doing some kind of material job. Actually, the person who asks that question is also very elevated in his consciousness. That person is actually a scientist in Hyderabad. He quit his job and then he came to the place of the spiritual master in Ongole, and then he's serving. He's serving for his service. And that person is asking, how can the sadhaka can advance or move forward in his consciousness levels? And then the simple answer which was being given is, if you hear the Shravana more detailedly, you should analyze. Dear devotees, for example, if you have love towards a person, let's say if person is cooking for you and then is feeding you, don't you ask the details? How did you make this? Was it okay for you? Did you went through any difficulties? I know you did so many preparations. Generally, you don't do this every day because I am coming today. That's why you're making these preparations. So it might have been very difficult for you. Don't you ask those details? We just ask those details, right? You're actually checking everything. Then you'll actually eat everything which is feeding because he has done with a lot of love. You cannot just say, I will just ignore this, right? What are you doing? Because you have that love towards that other person, then only you are actually inquiring. Likewise, dear devotees, if we establish that kind of love with our spiritual master and our ideas, what happens is we go into the details of what they are trying to say. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had his intimate associates where he is discussing with them every day evening. Please understand. On one side, he's going at different places and then he's telling chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna all through India. But on the other side, what he is also doing is he is trying to establish that deeper consciousness with his intimate associates. Now he stayed with Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami for 1 month. Why? To give them the truth, to give them the understanding that this is what you need to do, this is what you need to aspire. Very clear indication. Why? Because that relationship is there, na? Deep relationship is thickened. Now when the relationship is thickened, what happens? You know what is? The sadhaka goes deeper. The sadhaka goes, he's trying to understand what I need to perceive, how I need to perceive, why I need to perceive. What, how, and why. He's always, he will always ask this question. So this understanding should be applied into our consciousness. Because this is not in a dear devotees, whatever we are discussing, we are not discussing any gross elements, we are discussing all subtle principles. These subtle principles, they remain in the heart. And then whoever aspires to develop that consciousness, only he can perceive that. For example, that Brahmana told her mother Rukmini about the details of the Lord. Do you think he was just telling just something, oh, Krishna has a flute, Krishna, stands in threefold bending form. That's about it, he's your master, he's a supreme personality of Godhead. And he leaves? No. He spoke to her continuously. That means what is he doing? He's going into the details. Because to whom he's speaking? He's speaking to only one person. Please understand. He's speaking to only Mother Rukmini, and then through that understanding, what is he giving? He's giving everything what he has. This is not, is this not compassion, dear devotees? Is this not love, dear devotees, towards the other being? This is actually real love to the other being. What is a real benefit a person can do to the other person? To give Krishna consciousness. Not just to give Krishna consciousness, so that the other person is also motivated and inspired to take this truth to the core of the heart. That means the other person is also coming to the levels of surrender. That is the whole idea. See, within one day, within one class, we can tell everything. We can tell, oh, Hare Krishna, okay, you came here, very nice. Since today, every day, you chant 16 rounds. Every day, you follow 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit and gambling. Every day, you get up early in the morning, do Mangalarti, eat only Krishna Prasad, and then that's about it. And then he leaves. Just giving an example. Because if a person is actually just giving that info and then leaving, do you think that the person will follow that? Is he kind of an Arjuna? Krishna told within 15-20 minutes, Arjuna understood everything. Karishye vachanantava. Yata teta te tata guru. Yes, my dear Lord, I'm going to do it. Are we in that state? I'm not in that state. At least I am not in that state. We are not in that state. Please understand this, dear devotees. We require training. You need to ask, oh, why I should do this? Why I should do that? Yes, it's important. If the questions are not coming, that means we are not going internally. It's a clear indication. So when I ask in between, I know based on the answers itself, in which level you're taking the science of Krishna consciousness. I can tell. I can perceive. Because I can know which person is in the level of jnana, which person is in the level of karma, which person is in the level of dhyana, which person is in the level of bhakti. Even in that bhakti, which person is giving importance to the relationship, which person is not giving importance to the relationship, which person is aspiring to the state of surrender, which person is not aspiring to that. I can tell everything. Why? Because just if you speak for 2 minutes, you can understand what's in your heart. How is the clarity is coming? What you want to aspire? What are your goals? Because you remember last week I told about this, right? If our goals and aspirations are something else, then Krishna consciousness will, the water to Krishna consciousness will not come. See, dear devotees, evening 1 hour, going, doing some kirtan, hearing for some time, and then coming back home. Never think that that is Krishna consciousness. Never ever think that. You should never be fooled that, oh, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness. Never ever say that. Because, dear devotees, when we just do that and then come back home and then do whatever we are supposed to, do, whatever we are doing, that will not invoke a relationship with the Lord. See, we are actually lost souls in this world. Completely we are lost. The connection with the Lord is completely lost. We are trying to reinstate that connection through the process of Shravan. And then whoever hears this attentively, he can perceive the truth very nicely. Because what happens, dear devotee, if I hear the truth, what happens is, I try to understand that. I try to think about it. I try to go deeper. Just like Mother Rukmini, she went deeper. What should she do? After that Brahmana left, she's continuously thinking about the Lord. And then tears are coming out of her eyes. She's profusely crying. She's continuously thinking about him. And then she's in a separation. Just imagine, dear devotee, she didn't even see, but she's in a state of separation. What is separation? She feels that I'm going to hit my head to the wall because I don't see him. Do we ever get that consciousness? Do we ever feel like that? Oh, Krishna, you're not there. I'm going to hit my head to the wall. You shouldn't do superficially, but I'm just asking. Do we get that consciousness? No, we don't. We do not have that consciousness. Now, that is the beginning of devotion, actually. The same manifestation Lord Chaitanya showed. Actually, if you see the life of Lord Chaitanya, you can know everything. If you see the life of Srila Prabhupada, you can know everything. Why? Because they're the epitome. They showed how the devotion has to be done. Devotion means completely for the well-being of the other person, for their happiness. That means if I'm why should I do for his happiness? Out of love? No, that is devotion. It is not mixed with karma or jnana or anything like that. Now the same Gita was read by Srila Prabhupada, was understood by Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of his spiritual master, by the mercy of his father. He understood everything. That's how he was able to write that later, by their blessings. That's why if you see, Srila Prabhupada always proclaims that, because he will never forget him. Gratitude is what? To never forget the other person what he has given to us. That is real gratitude. Because we would never forget. Why? When we will never forget, we will never forget about the glory, about the other person who has given to us. That means if we know that that is the greatest thing in this world, then we will never forget that person. Oh, this devotee helped me like this. Oh, this devotee gave me first time Kantimala. Oh, this devotee helped me. Huh? He showed me how to chant Hare Krishna. And then this devotee is helping me to go deeper. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for these personalities. But I'm more grateful to the person who is actually guiding me. Because there are different levels also, right? See, one person is your friend, one person is your uncle, one person is your aunt, one person is your grandfather, one person is your grandmother. But there is one person who is your mother. Now you go to your mother only during the difficulties. And you inquire from your mother or inquire from your father during those circumstances. But the other scenarios, what we would do, we would hang around with with others. But during the difficulties, only to the core person where we get everything from that. When we understand that, then just like Govinda, when he had issue, this is interesting. Lord Chaitanya was sleeping after doing Sankirtan for hours. He's resting at the doorstep. He was so tired. He was just, the Supreme Lord, his unlimited leelas. He's doing here beautiful pastime. And then he's just sleeping at the door. Then Govinda comes. Actually, for Govinda to come inside, he has to step over Lord Chaitanya. Please understand. He has to step over the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But unless and until he step over him, he cannot do the service. He was in deep separation with the Lord that I have to do some service to him. I have to do some service to Lord Chaitanya. It's in deepest separation. If this service is not there, I cannot stay. I cannot stay without this. Then he jumps, he crosses over Lord Chaitanya and then he begins serving. Lord Chaitanya would get up. And then he begins asking, okay, how did you come? Because I was there. Then I jumped over. Then after some time you could have left. And he said, no, again I have to jump over. How can I do that? See, it's interesting. The devotee's heart is very beautiful. To do a service, he is ready to do anything for the well-being of the other person. But he is not seeing the well-being of himself. Now the next time he says, oh my dear Lord, how can I jump on you? I cannot do that. That's why I stayed here. I did not eat anything. I just stayed here. I'm just serving you. I'm happy doing that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with the attitude. When the Lord will be pleased with us, Lord will be immensely pleased through our attitude, through our mentality. If that mentality and attitude is beautiful, we do so many wonderful things through our consciousness. Just remember that South Indian Brahmana, he heard from the spiritual master that even if you do not have anything, through meditation, through your consciousness, you can please the Lord. You might not have anything in your life, but through that consciousness, you can please the Lord. Then that Brahmana took it as his life and soul. He was a very poor person. He didn't have much. So every day for years, year by year, every day he's doing the same thing in his consciousness. What is he doing in his consciousness? He closes his eyes, he prays to his spiritual master, and then in his consciousness, he goes to the market, collects the vegetables, comes back home. This is all in the consciousness only. He's lighting the fire, he's cooking, he's putting ghee, he's soaking the rice. This is all in the consciousness. He doesn't have anything. So he's closing his eyes and then just doing it. And then for years, he did it. We used to do this for 2 hours because cooking, it will take time, right? Just to cut the vegetables nicely. Everything has to be properly chopped off, neatly washed. Everything has to be cleaned. Then he need to have right burner also. It should be of right size, right measurement. If it is very high, it will burn off, right? It should be in the correct state. So he's checking that also. Everything is checking. And then after that, he will wonderfully arrange that in a beautiful plate. Yes, different cups. So silver plate, It's all in the consciousness. He can do, dear devotees, you can create anything in the consciousness. Bhava Grai Janardana. Lord, Lord would see our bhava. He will not see anything else. So he's beautifully arranging. And then one day, after doing this years, one day Lord wanted to give him mercy. Because what is he doing? Goodness did. I was actually telling my daughter, Amma, if we come to the state of goodness, then only we can do this consistently. Otherwise, we cannot do consistently. So this Brahmana is in a pure goodness. Because he doesn't have any external agitations in his life. He's perfect. He has a cool head. He's thinking perfectly. Dear devotees, if you do this every day for your bhoga offering and then doing this bhoga with this consciousness, oh, from your home you will be elevated so much. But you should do this every day. The way how this Brahmana is doing. No, this Brahmana doesn't have anything. No, Krishna has given us so much. Krishna has given us nice kitchen. Everything is there. You can get nice organic vegetables, organic milk, everything you can get. Perfect. Cook nicely, Cook, make nice preparation. And buy silver plate for the Lord, So buy a nice silver plate, That Brahmana is doing in the consciousness. We can afford that. I know you all can afford that. Afford, have a nice silver plate, big silver plate, Nice bowls in it, Then do yoga very nicely. And then this Brahmana is doing that, and then he thinks that, oh, there's sweet rice. He made sweet rice also that day. He says, the sweet rice has to be cooled down. He's trying to cool that sweet rice. And then he's cooling, and then he puts his finger, and his finger is burnt. Immediately opened his eyes. He saw, my finger is burnt. What's happening? His finger is really burnt. Then Mother Lakshmi is laughing in the spiritual world. But actually, Lord is laughing. And then Mother Lakshmi was asking, oh, my dear Swami, what happened? Why are you laughing? And he says, you see my devotee? It's so beautiful. He knows that I will honor even in the consciousness level. He's so convinced with that. And then now his finger is burnt. No, I gave him that realization. Then the Lord personally comes and takes him back home back to world. Enough. Now you do for me directly. Dear devotees, Lord is pleased. Vatram pushpam palam toyam yome vatta prayachate. Tadaham bhakti upartam asnami prayata. You don't have to do so much. Lord is pleased. Just imagine if the Lord is pleased with patram pushpam palam toyam. If you do fully, how much he'll be pleased? Oh, unimaginable. Yetamam prapadyante tam sadevaram. It is our desire. How much we want to please. Lord is ready to please in that much level. This we need to understand. Actually, this is the science, this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. We began the conversation today, intentions, but we'll discuss more on this. There's more to come on intentions. It's very important subject. There's a mercy of my spiritual master, I'll tell you, because it's only his krupa. We are actually doing something at a level of consciousness. Something we are actually thinking and then doing it for the pleasure of them, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, for the pleasure of the Lord. I always think, how can I directly worship the Lord? I'm not qualified for that. I need my spiritual master. I need my Siksha Guru. I need my Diksha Guru. I need them, please. Please bestow mercy. Mother Tulsi, please bestow this mercy so that I can serve them nicely. See, if I go to Mother Tulsi, I worship for them. I pray for the service for them. If I go to them, then I, pray for the service for them. It's a beautiful relation. If you go to the Lord, you should ask for the service for the spiritual master. If you go to the spiritual master, you should ask service for the Lord. It's a very beautiful connection. And then a sadhaka like ourselves, when we are in that, if we are bombarded by these two personalities, on this side we have spiritual master, on this side we have the Supreme Lord. If you are in both of them, Even if you are crushed, it is good for us. Please understand. It's good. That crush is transcendental crush. It's good. Hare Krishna. I think I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions? Would like to add anything? Like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please
Amma
accept
Hare
humble
Krishna Amma. Please accept humble obeisances.
obeisance.
Please do.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, today my takeaway is that pleasing Guru, pleasing Krishna should be my goal. And also in one house, as you explained, that every person has different perspectives. How they will take the Krishna consciousness all depends upon their acceptance, and that's why constant association, ABCD of Krishna consciousness is very important. And also Prabhuji, you mentioned about the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Govinda. So actually it's so beautiful, Prabhuji, as you explained, that Govinda crossover Mahaprabhu when he was sleeping after his lunch, afternoon lunch, and because to serve Mahaprabhu, but he cannot cross over back to get prasadam because he has, if he like serving the Mahaprabhu is for serving the Lord, but for his eating, that is for him. So that's what Mahaprabhu, after he woke up, he asked him like, why are you still here? You did not eat? Then he said, no, because I had to cross you, I cannot do that to eat, like for my sense gratification, like eating. So it's so wonderful pastimes,
It was
Prabhuji.
very beautiful pastime actually.
It's very
I love
beautiful.
that so much. Because
Yeah,
if you actually see for that, the Govinda is not thinking about himself.
yeah.
In this consciousness, he is not thinking what's going to happen to me. Very beautiful. This is what the Lord is pleased so much. Because if we know our Father is there, why will I think about myself? My Father will take care of me. Very simple, right? That is his consciousness. That is his mentality. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. Actually, Rup Sanatan Goswami, when they came to the Lord, they said, oh, my dear Lord, everyone are telling that we are very knowledgeable personalities, but we don't know who we are. Please guide us. This is the attitude with which we need to approach this spiritual master. Very beautiful. This, this actually, this melts the heart of the spiritual master of the Supreme Lord. It's like their heart is like a butter, but our consciousness should be like this. We should proclaim with this state. No, they both went with a blade of grass in their mouth. And then they did prostrated obeisances in front of the Lord. Oh, my dear Lord, we are very sinful. We don't know anything. Please help, please guide. Then the Lord was very pleased. Don't worry, don't worry. I will help you. I will give you mercy. This is the attitude which we need to approach, especially our spiritual master, our superiors, Supreme Lord. Yesterday I had a fortune to call my spiritual master. I was I'll tell one thing from that. I told him that, uh, dear spiritual master, by your mercy, I was able to give up this job. And then I'm very happy here, practicing Krishna consciousness. But I do not get time to be absorbed more. Then immediately he said, Nilgovinda, it is Maya. Should be careful. So I was just thinking about that. So I did not think more about it. The more when the heart churns on that just one word, then we get so many reflections. And then what I'll do is I'll submit all those reflections to him because he told that. So I don't know it is Maya. He told, that's why it is Maya. When they tell, then it has weightage. For my words, there is no weightage. But for the words of the spiritual master, for the words of the acharyas, there is weightage. It's very beautiful. We should always have this consciousness. Not that initially I will have this and then later on I will not have. No, 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 no. This is not for initial thing. No, Govinda is a pure soul. He's practicing since so many years. He's an intimate associate of the Lord. But still is carrying that consciousness. Sarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. He practiced for 70 years, still he is carrying that consciousness. Why can't we carry that consciousness? We can carry that consciousness when we have that relationship with them. That he's giving, he's my master, he's everything, he's my life and soul. When that state comes and everything is established and manifest in our core of the heart, then we will understand, oh yes, 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 this is really Maya. Because my Gurudev told, my spiritual master told. And when we reflect on that, any little reciprocations, after months, after a few months, I was talking to him. I was so happy just for 10 minutes. So happy I was sharing few things. And then I was telling, devotees of Tampa, they're slowly accepting the truth. Then he was very happy. He said, my blessings to all the devotees. He was very happy to hear that. So
Yes.
this is how, dear devotees, when these personalities they bless us, then we can continue. Then we can hear, then we can understand the truth more and more. Because it is a blessing of the pure devotees only we can practice Krishna consciousness. This is my understanding. Because it is not through our getting up, it is not through our rounds, it is not through our sadhana, it is not through our tapasya, it is not through our austerities, but it is there through their blessings. Because it is through their blessings we are able to cross over this line. It's a very thin, material and spiritual, very thin line. To cross over that, we need pure devotees' blessings, their association, their mercy. That came to the life of Govinda. That is coming through our life also. The mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his very pure followers. They're not like, they do not expect anything. I remember even I've been in the Association of Spiritual Masters in 7 years now. He has no expectation from me. His only intention is to make me be Krishna conscious. That is the only thing. If I tell my dear spiritual master, I cannot do this, no, don't worry. Just continue. Just continue. Very down to. That's why, dear devotees, it is not easy to discuss this every day. Please understand. It's not easy. It's not easy. To share every day, it's not easy. But somehow the Lord is pleased with the attitude. Not my attitude. The attitude is also given. I remember my spiritual master when he gave the service of doing preaching. He told me one thing. He said, actually, Neelgovinda, you are not speaking, I am speaking through you. It's very beautiful. He said, I am speaking through you. I'll discuss about this more because I cannot, cannot discuss because it's already time. Thank you, Amma Basmati Mataji. Please continue. My best wishes to all of you. Please practice the science of Krishna consciousness to the core of the heart. And when envy is coming in the heart, always try to remember the spiritual master. Always try to remember the glories of Srila Prabhupada. You remember, actually, I did not share that message in the group. I'm going to share that message in the group right after this meeting. Srila Prabhupada is actually pleading his disciples. He's pleading. He says, I am elderly person. I cannot chastise you. I'm old man, but I'm requesting. He's pleading. He folds his hand and then he pleads to his disciples. He says, do not become hippies again. Do not grow your hair back. Just keep it neat, clean, and practice the science of Krishna consciousness. When we see the Acharya is pleading so much, the heart melts, dear devotees. The moment the desire to do sense gratification, when the thought itself is coming, we will remember this personality. Srila Prabhupada gave so much. He gave his life. He gave everything to this mission. How can I engage in sense gratification? How can I take everything for me? How can I do this? How can I do this for me myself? I cannot do this. So the heart melts. I'll put that message. Please see, please read that. This is what they are telling. He says, I cannot do more than this, more than pleading. Because I'm an old man. Please take this process to the core of the heart. Now this we need to see. through this relationship, for pleasing the acharyas, for pleasing the spiritual master, if we do this, your Krishna consciousness will be great actually. You'll share so many reflections, you'll share so many realizations. At every moment, you'll see a realization, you'll see a reflection in your heart. Is it not a blessing? It is a blessing. It is a real conviction. You should be convinced with the process. You should be convinced that this will take me to the other side. And this person will actually take me to the other side. You should be convinced. That is possible. And then, dear devotees, I'll tell one more thing and then I'll conclude here. So, when I was speaking with my god sister, very nice devotee, very sincere soul. And then she was telling, because after 5, 6 years of association, she's telling now I'm getting a desire. Initially, after 1 year, I got the desire of going back home, back to Godhead. But now I do not have that desire. I have another desire. I asked, what is the desire? And then she said, I want to serve, I want to stay here. I want to serve life after life. That is it. I said, wow, great. I clapped my hands, appreciated that mother. Is very dear. Is very nicely taking the truth. And I said, Amma, you're great. My prayers and best wishes for you. You have a beautiful consciousness. It's like Srila Prabhupada told, right? In the Damodar temple, when he was there, that elderly Mataji, she was coming, she doesn't know anything. But she was coming every day, she was giving water. At the right time, she comes at 3:45 a.m., then she gives water. Because that water will be used in the service of the Lord. Every day, and then Prabhupada, after so many days of observation, he said, this Mataji is not an ordinary personality. And then she will go back home in this very lifetime. When the Acharya says, Krishna will give all the sanctions and then he will take her back home back to Godhead. Why? Because he told. That's what Prabhupada told us. If you follow these 4 regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna very sincerely to the core of the heart, and then become free from all these materialistic propensities of this world, then in this very lifetime you will go back home back to Godhead. For sure. That's guaranteed. There's no doubt about it. Even if the market crashes or gold prices falls down, nothing will happen to you. You'll go back home back to God. Happily, peacefully. This assurance no one else in this world gives. Only the acharyas they give us. And this we should sincerely follow. Hare. Thank you. Anyone else would like to add? Or otherwise we'll hand over to our dear Vamshilas Prabhu. Every day, he brings new bhajan, he sings nicely, he reads and then, he reads the translation, he sings very nicely. Thank you, dear Vamshi Prabhu. We are all so happy for your service.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Just to please you is my thanks.
He's alone in temple, but this is the only association he has. So that's why if you see his attitude, he's always down to earth. Sometimes I speak heavily with him sometimes, even on the call, but he accepts it very nicely. He's a very simple person. Actually, he's a big director of a company, but still, the taking of the process is very, very simple. He'll do great services. If he continues the process, understands his truth more and more, he'll do great. That is what I'm praying and hoping that you do nice services. So he's very, very simple person. Actually, through him only, I got connected to all of you. I'm indebted to him because he's helping me to do some service to all of you. So thank you,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Thank you for all that you do every day. So much you are giving us, and yet you are praising somebody who's doing nothing. Hare Krishna.
Actually, yesterday to your Ramya Mataji, 1 second, you can speak. Yesterday, Mamshilas Prabhu she shared me a message in the group. Prabhu, I did not read that. Once I read, then I'll respond. Okay. Respond to your message. Yes, Ramya Mataji, please tell.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Today morning I went to Mangalarti. Here I came to my sister's place. And morning 5 o'clock we went there. It was very, very beautiful, and everyone was dancing and singing. It was an amazing experience. Thank you. It's all happened because of your association. Thanks everyone in this.
Nice. Happy to hear.
Hare Krishna.
Please continue.
Hare
Please
Krishna
continue to
Prabhuji.
hear every
So
day.
they provided with books and beads, everything, and we bought, and they were very happy that we came. And this is the first time we went. I never got a before, but this is
Nice.
really, really amazing.
Nice.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yes, Ramshilas Prabhu, please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam.
If I spoke anything wrong, please excuse me. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam. I'm so grateful to get another opportunity to be in the association of all the wonderful devotees who